What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Like, share, subscribe, comment, IG, TikTok, bottom of the video, and we're just gonna hop right into it. So today, we will be doing a T1 today. Gonna be a little off kilter today, but we will be doing some tea today. So I know motherfuckers like these videos, so here we are. So today we'll be talking about a couple people, mainly Lex P from the Pour Minds podcast, Propain, who is a rapper from Houston, and Propain's girlfriend, wife, I don't know which one it is, but she goes by Toya Kent on Instagram. So all three of them, obviously, Lex P is the most famous. Lex P being from the Pour Minds podcast, them having the travel show on BET. Lex P, she's doing her, I forget the name of it, but her one-on-one kind of like Wendy Williams-esque thing. So she's been popping out here for a few years. So Propain is a rapper from Houston. If you haven't heard of him before this, don't be ashamed. I had neither, no disrespect. I looked it up. He's been rapping for a while. He has a song with Kevin Gates, Rich Homie Quan, a couple other people. I'm pretty sure he's just one of the Houston rappers. They got their own kind of sound and things, so he probably is like real lit out in Houston. But that's Propain, and you wouldn't know his girlfriend or wife or anything, because I think she is. Cause she works in she calls herself a serial entrepreneur. One of the business here, well, she sells like raw hair and hair bundles. So yeah, but she has a pretty big following, so she must be pretty successful at it. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. So what we're here to talk about today is Tanya Kent, the woman, like I said, raw hair and girlfriend or wife of, she called him his partner, so girlfriend of Propain. She first posted a TikTok. Everybody's doing that new trend of sitting down for this documentary, and they give what a documentary would be. So she did that trend, and that's when she exposed it. I find it this funny as hell because she ain't, some people would have alluded to it. They would have gave an obvious clue or context as people would have, internet detectives would have been able to figure out. She just put it on Front Street. That's just funny as hell to me. Now, she then goes on a rant. I was gonna say, I guess you call it is a rant. So she goes on and she posts a clip from the Pour Minds podcast with Lex Andrea, and then she goes on a rant after that. So it is a 10-minute clip, so it is very long. So
get to leave situations with no scratches. They get to move on, be happy. I just saw a lady on TikTok say that. She said, why is it fair that I got cheated on? The side woman knew that he was married, knew that he had a family, and now he left me and my child. Now he gets to go start a new family, and I have to approve of my child being around the woman, and I just got to smile and cheese through it. While I don't agree with people's actions, I do think sometimes women they have a right to be upset, and sometimes these niggas need to get slapped.
But nobody is saying that you don't have a right to be upset. I think it's just all about how you carry shit and how you handle stuff. Like, to me, the ultimate revenge is leaving people in the dust and not fucking with them no more. Like, doing all of that extra shit, I just be thinking you're bothered. Like, you're very...
Of course!
Yes, and I get it, you should be, but also move on with your life. Leave that person in the dust. Like, I don't think you reap good benefits or positive benefits or yield positive results in life when you do evil shit to people on purpose. Yes, granted, this nigga was evil towards you, so you gonna turn into an evil person too? Versus still being a good person.
I agree with you, because that's the road I always take. But I also
what you said, I don't know, queen, because you be caping for bitches when they be doing crazy shit.
I understand where you're coming from. I personally wouldn't do it.
So then I think you should say that instead of being like, I feel like it be okay when women do.
Because it does.
But it really don't, though. It's not okay when nobody do the shit. It's not okay when men do it. It's not okay when women do it. It's not okay when humans do fucked up shit to each other.
So my take on that is both parties, my baby daddy and Lex, They both played their part. And when I say they did their big one, they did their big one. And the reason for me even doing this, because honestly, y'all, I was triggered. I was triggered at the common sense that Lex had to say like a man needs to be slapped, but it was the lack of accountability that she had for herself and being an active participant in that situation. That betrayal, y'all, did not just affect me. It affected my entire household. It affected my kids. It affected my mindset. I literally had to operate off of a broken heart. Do you understand me? A broken heart. And for years, I allowed people to call me bitter. I allowed people to call me evil. I allowed people to call me mean. And I never once addressed what betrayal has done to me. I just steady just try to work my way through it, try to boss up from it. But at the end of the day, when somebody in your mind, and when that person is your forever person and you are betrayed by them, it changes your whole outlook on life, on love, on family. And that's what it done to me. I went through therapy, intensive therapy. 1 year I had 3 therapists at one time. Do you understand me? My kids was uprooted from our family home because I could not be in that home no longer without him. So I had to go and buy this house that I'm in now. We are now a divided family from betrayal, from the mindsets of women like Lex P. Not to say this is her mindset now. I'm giving her grace because she probably outgrown from being a participant in that for that long period of time. But I'm saying the mindsets of women, you do not understand that you do not only affect that person's significant other if there are other people involved. Now, it would have been probably easier for me to move on if I didn't have children, if this wasn't their dad and stepdad. But that wasn't the case. A lot of my anger has been towards him. Because how could you say you love me? How could you sleep with me every night and knowing that you had a secret relationship with somebody else? How can you always accuse me of cheating? Always accused me of cheating, but you had an active 6-year relationship. Now, I only know all of this information from watching the podcast because I did become a fan of the podcast. Like, they are a wonderful dynamic. Like, they are so entertaining. But as she started giving him a code name called Rapper Bay, I started putting the pieces together. And then that's what gave my confirmation, because me and Lex worked together at a nightclub for 4 years. And in those 4 years, she was dealing with him. Now, I didn't know, but what gave me an inkling was once I left the nightclub industry, I became a business owner. And so I haven't been on the night scene for a while, with some years. And so I was happy to see Lex when I returned to the nightclub, just a night out. But Lex was still working there. And I seen her and I wanted to embrace her and say, hey girl, how you doing? Like, I screamed her name from across the bar and she stopped like a deer in headlights. And she just stood there frozen. And I turned around and I'm like, Lex, you good? Like, hey. And she just stopped. But then I noticed her eyes pivoted towards this guy who is my baby daddy's cousin. So when her eyes darted directly to him and I followed her eyes, I literally was like, what? I was like, and so when I looked back at her, she still was just like, and at that moment, I was just like, all right, she must have messed with my baby daddy, or they must be messing around right now. Hopefully it ain't nothing serious. I never addressed it because I truly hoped that it was just like a one-time thing or it wasn't nothing serious. It wasn't until her podcast that she admitted that they've been doing what they've been doing for 6 years. Mind you, I was with this man for 8 years. So I'm just truly triggered, on the podcast where you can say the consequences for a man doing what he does and leaving the woman with the baggage, and he gets to go on and live his life. And then you have no consequences for the woman that played an active role. You are that woman, Lex P, and you don't owe me no apology. It would have been nice because I knew you. We knew each other. We worked together for 4 years. But however, if you're going to use your podcast, don't use it in a way that shadows your wrongdoing, because you was wrong. You was wrong. I'm still healing from that because my outlook on love has altered. My mindset has truly changed. I don't my trust level with people is shot. Okay? Because a person can know you and still do you wrong. A person can lay with you and love you, still do you wrong. A person can build with you and have a family with you and still do you wrong. So that situation out to me, and I don't care about anybody saying, Toya, well, you need to move on, or Toya, you bitter, or Toya, you, man, listen, that was my person. That was who I stamped as the man of my household, the father of my child, my children, because they saw him as my other two kids saw him as they dad. And I don't have family. That was all the family I had. I built that family dynamic, because it's one thing when I came from a family that I couldn't have. I didn't choose that family. So I don't have family. But the family that I created, that was broken. That was divided by people and they selfish acts. And guess what? People get to go on and have successful podcasts, go on and get to have successful rap careers. And me, I'm dwindling down in my businesses because my mind cannot operate off of the hurt, the pain, the betrayal, the broken heart. And it's like, it's so much came on me. And so for people that just be like, move on, this is not an intentional position or state that a woman that has the livelihoods of many on her hands want to be. But this is where I am. And I can't hide it no more. Imagine grieving somebody and they still alive. Imagine grieving these memories. It's unfair and it's disheartening. And I'm not doing this to bash Lex or my baby daddy, because the situation is done. The only person recovering is Toya. But I'm putting this out there for people that have the mindsets of Lex P's or the mindset she had. Y'all, deal with somebody that ain't got no family, or deal with somebody that ain't, you know what I'm saying, in a relationship. But do y'all understand, like, the damage control that y'all do? It's unreal. It's unreal. Some people like myself take years to recover because in my mind, in my soul, he was a part of my lifetime. So y'all don't get to tell people how to move on. Y'all don't get to tell people how to heal. And most of all, being an active participant, you don't get to dish out consequences if you don't have none for your own.
Now, the funniest thing for me here and what's interesting is that how she tried to kind of, I guess, check. I don't think check's the word I'm looking for, but check Lex talking about you know, she said all this, and I mean, she did all this, and, where's the accountability and things of that sort. And my thing is always with a relationship and things of that sort, the person you got to hold accountable and whose ass you should be on in this case is Propain. All of this resentment feels, and maybe she, has expressed resentment to Propain in private, but all this resentment and things she's saying sounds like she got a lot of smoke for Lex and not enough smoke for Propain, who you were actually in a relationship with. Lex, and as she explained, I'm about to get into it, she said that she was also lied to. Um, she puts out, Lex says, I was lied to as well, had to go through therapy and went through a lot. I would never knowingly deal with a man in a relationship. I've been in a relationship for 3 years and haven't seen him for 4, praying for your healing. And Tanya goes on her story and, puts a whole bunch of shit. She said, we lived together 7 years out of 8 year relationship. Had a public relationship. You stated you were with him for 6 years. How did you not know? How can you be with someone that long and never go to their house, meet their child? 4 years ago, we were together and we both know what happened the night I saw you. Like I said, I do not expect accountability because of her image she has to uphold. Understandable. The recent clip from social media is what triggered this old news. It was hypercritical, and I felt the need to finally speak what happened to me. Rapper Bae Propain has been mentioned in her podcast many times, and I stayed silent as she relived her moments with him while we were together, but enough was enough. She says she ain't know. Okay, she says I'm creating a version of her. Okay, but the truth is the truth, and it's finally out there. And I don't doubt he ain't put her through it. The only response is, "What did you expect when you participated?" God bless everyone. In specific to that, she got a little bit of a point, just a little bit. She got a little bit of a point. So yes, if you went with somebody for 6 years, there's no way that you didn't go over their place. I mean, even if y'all frequent your place more, you eventually would have went over their place somehow. 6 years, yeah, somehow, some way. So that is interesting. Look, I'm not from Houston, didn't know who Propain was, so I don't know how actually public this relationship was. But knowing rappers and how they girlfriends, especially, oh, disrespect them, say lower level rapper, but not as famous rappers. I can truly believe that they probably did have a very public relationship, and a lot of people in the city of Houston knew who they were. Now, this is also another thing that I just thought about when I was thinking about this. Yes, she's actually from Orange, Texas, which is a small town outside of Houston, but she moved. Her and Dre have been moved to Atlanta. So even if y'all have been public on the Houston side of things, her living in Atlanta may affect that. But then again, we got Instagram, social media, so I don't know. Now reading that, she put some other thoughts in my head. I don't know. Lex may have known. It is given a little bit that she known just because of those details. But like I said, we don't know. We don't know. Now, what was interesting to me about, like I said, she trying to. I felt like she should have had more smoke for Propane. What was also interesting to me was the timing. Uh she said, like, obviously from what she said in that long clip and what she said on social media, she has known this for a very, 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 very long time. So my thing is, what made you decide to drop it now? And I feel like it had something to do. She expressed that it was an old clip that brought up old feelings. I think it more had something to do with the trajectory of Lex P's and the Pour Minds podcast. Anyway, like they going on tour, the tour clips are going viral. They going crazy. They selling out tour shows like fast for a podcast. So things of that sort. I mean, obviously they're getting big. They're getting guests, bigger guests, things of that sort. Brand deals, all things of sort. Like I said, Lex P got her own like Woody Williams S thing. They got the travel thing with BT. I feel like she just seen her popping her shit a little bit too much and was like, "Nah, we're gonna try to put that flame out." But even even if Lex P did, knowingly sleep with a man or participate in this with a man in a relationship, and she's right about the "what did you expect" part, who gives a fuck? At the end of the day, like she was like, she got this image to uphold. Yeah, some women might bash her. Some women will bash her. Let me not say might, will bash her. But at the end of the day, Lex is always, her thing is like her being transparent herself, and just she's funny, like just being naturally herself. So even if she did, she come out apologize, it'll blow up anyway. I just thought it was very interesting about Shawty doing all this. But that's really all I gotta say though. Like, share, subscribe, comment. IG, TikTok, bottom of the video, and we out.